All right, so I'm purchasing this piece of property, this land. I've been finding a lot of success helping people dispose of their land, whether it's inherited property or they're in some form of distress. And I've learned a great amount of things because usually I'm working with residential spaces, single family homes, things of that nature. But land comes with its own different set of I guess, challenges or things that you need to consider. And one of those is a lot of the folks, if I'm going to assign this contract or sell the property or do something with the land or even build on it, a lot of end buyers want to make sure that the property soil actually, what they say, perks, passes a percolation test. Now, in North Carolina, it doesn't soil doesn't necessarily have to pass percolation tests, but so many builders, so many folks are used to this form of testing to make sure when there's sewer or involved that it doesn't get contaminated. And so a perk test is, I want to say outdated, but it is it's definitely necessary. But there are advances in soil testing that we can use that help us figure out, is this land suitable to build on? Because most end buyers want to build something that's a residence or a business on the land. There's a lot of different uses for lands, but that's where most of my buyers are coming from. And so I have this property. It is, I consider it pretty hot. I'm getting a lot of feedback. A lot of folks want to buy it. However, we found out that in 2002, it was deemed unsuitable. The soil was deemed unsuitable. So great opportunity for me to grow and to learn. And so thank goodness for Facebook groups, for mastermind groups, and for different spaces. So I just got on horn, hollering at a lot of different folks, and I was just advised to head down to the county or to the city to find out what's up. So yesterday I visited the Durham Public Works, sweet con folks in there, and they let me know some of the options that I could do. They're like, either you can buy the land behind there or purchase 10 feet of it, because we don't allow underground easements, which I thought was one of the options. An easement is a pathway that you're legally allowed to use. You don't have ownership, but you get to use through someone else's property. But since they don't allow those easements, you have to actually purchase a piece of the land. So that's one option. Another option was to completely rip up the whole street and bring in a water line, which just wasn't feasible. Didn't seem like it would be economically feasible. And the other option, it was to maybe get it perked again. 2002 was many years ago, and there's been advances in technology. So they pointed me to the health department, and I ran over to the health department, and that's what they confirmed. Hey, maybe you won't get this perked again. The guy who even did this, he's retired, and those are old tests they use. And so, shout out to my VA Keithley. We were given the soil scientists, some type of board of North Carolina, and there was 14 pages of different soil scientists. And so we drafted a template email and just shot out, and Keithley just went to everyone who was in my area and did that, covered the area, just emailed it, blasted. Well, not blast, but emailed each person. And we got a lot of responses back, and we're able to find some folks for very inexpensive to do the perk test. Now, to my end buyers, I am sharing that, hey, I'm being definitely upfront that this is what the situation is. If you want to purchase this or you want to go ahead and lock it up, you can, but please know that you will be responsible. If we're going to go ahead and schedule this perk test, if it passes perk, you're responsible for full payment. If it doesn't pass the perk test, obviously, I'm assuming you want to build on it, you'll receive your deposit back, you'll get released from the contract, and you will actually receive half of the payment back. So there is going to be some risk involved, but that's sort of what investing is. And I have this contract locked up at a pretty good price. It's most buyers, builders want the contract at 10%, and even with my assignment fee in, I'm still assigning it for about 10%, 35,000. Properties are selling for 36,000, 360. I taught second grade, so my math. 10%, 110% of 30. Well, anyways, properties are selling for about 400K to 350K, and I'm putting out there for 35K. So we have a pretty good spread in there as well. All right, so let's rock and roll. Let's take a look. And so this is some of the research that I've done, and I told you a little background story here. So the land didn't perk long time ago, but you have options. Here's 8. And some of these I actually have already done and in the process of doing. First thing first, I requested a current soil test. Now, You may want to check when the last one was taking place, because if it was in recent years, then it probably won't pass Perc. And you may need some alternatives to see if it's suitable or buildable. All right. So check out and see. Check with your health department. Check with some scientists and see what are the current things that are available to do. Right. And there may be other options, folks. Please reach out to me if you. I love learning. If there's other options, please share it with me. Another one is consult with experts. Besides soil scientists, the health department, they technically can't give you advice, but they can, point themselves to the direction they may go and point you to the right direction with some winks and stuff. So I'm not saying that Durham County did that, but I am appreciative of some of the just facts that they presented to me. So consult with experts. Also, experts can be folks in your Facebook group, in your mastermind, in your network who are involved in land, builders, developers. They can help you come up with options and apply that knowledge, and you can solve some problems. Number 3, evaluate the risk. I have this property locked up at such at a solid price, and the area is so, people want the space that I have to decide, do I want to risk putting this funds in for the perk or things of that nature? What am I looking at? What's the upside? And the upside to me is way higher than the downside. I may end up losing some funds, but it's not as much. Percolation tests can be anywhere from $1,100 to, I may have someone who's a little bit less expensive, and it may be around $400 to $500. So yeah, you can put that into me to be able to get the spread that I'm hoping to get on this and solve the seller's problem and provide a great opportunity for a builder. So a lot of people smiling. I think it's worth the risk, but you have to assess if it's worth the risk for you. All right. Research your local regulations. This is really comes in like, what is the actual rules for being able to build? What are the actual guidelines for being able to do certain things? If you have knowledge and you can apply the knowledge, you're adding skills. So seek out the local regulations and find out what it is. Number 5, hey, you may have to go back with the seller, or I actually had it in my contract. I have a pretty extended on my land inspection period, because now I'm investing money, I'm investing time to make sure this is feasible. So I've told the seller, I knew that up front, and bless her heart, she was very upfront as well. That's why I knew it didn't pass soil in 2002. Well, because she shared the documents with me, and yeah, so you may be able to say, hey, look, this is what it is. If I'm going to take this risk, then we need to negotiate the price, or negotiate the time, or negotiate some terms. So you can do that either up front or as information comes in. But that's why it's important to have a license documentation from someone who's licensed to show. Just like in a house, getting an inspection, even as a wholesaler, is a great strategy, because it gives you so much more bargaining power. And number 6, consider other options. Consider other remediation options. Perhaps there's other things that you can do with the property. As I told you, I'm considering and knocking on the doors of the neighbors and, hey, can I buy your property, or can I buy 10 feet times whatever the regulation is so that I can run this stuff through? Do you want to go in on the deal with me? What are the options, and it's just how much time do I want to put into this to do that? And I got a lot of time, thank God. So I don't mind doing this. And it's going to help me learn, and I'm going to be able to have those skills and those tools for the next deal. So I'm excited about that. Number 7. Now this says obtained insurance policy. Now I haven't explored that option, but there are some times where you can obtain environmental liability insurance to protect you in the future. I assume this is great for a buyer, so that if they do run into some challenges or issues, at least they have insurance that's going to cover and protect them. And then the last thing is, there might be some alternative uses for the piece of land. If it doesn't perk, maybe there's some things that you can do, like, maybe it can qualify to be something else. Like this land, actually, it could become a cemetery. I haven't double checked that, but from my understanding in the conveyance laws, there's nothing that says it couldn't do that. From my limited understanding, I don't know if that's feasible as far as a profitable endeavor. And I'm not sure, but I don't know if the neighbors would like that, but regardless, there's maybe some alternatives for the piece of land that you're working with. So those are the issues right there. Let's run quick through them. Request a current soil test, consult with some experts, evaluate your risk, research the local regulations, chat with the seller, negotiate, consider other remediation options, and obtain your environmental liability insurance, and evaluate alternative uses. Hey, check it out. If you want to chat with me, maybe we can be a part of each other's journey in this whole real estate and helping people out game. This is the Life in Transitions Experts Podcast. I'm Courtney Rollins. Would love if you're listening to this to subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach many more people. Would love a like and all that good stuff if you're listening on podcasts and if you see this on Facebook and all that good stuff. Come join the Life in Transition Experts Facebook group. Show what you're doing and share. If you want to be on the group on the channel, would love to see if we can chat. So you can go to Calendly.com, State Pro Service, sign up for time. I don't charge anything. I love connecting with folks. And until then, this is the Life in Transitions Experts Podcast, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.